What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Patrick, aka Addicted to Combat, back for another week of Best Bets and Props, where I go over all of my betting action for this weekend's UFC fights. UFC Vegas 63, Calvin Kattar taking on Arnold Allen in a potential 5-round featherweight main event. We were down to 9 fights. Magically, we got 2 short notice replacements, back up to 11 total fights for this Saturday. I'm excited for it. I love weekly UFC fights of any kind. A little bit low level this week, but there's a lot of guys with a lot of things to prove to us, so it makes it very exciting. And the main event with Calvin Kattar should deliver for sure. But as far as my betting action this week, it's a little bit lighter than usual in some ways. It's very high risk, very high reward. But yeah, especially high risk really is the main part of this. I got 1 moneyline bet on an underdog, and I've got 4 parlays. Yeah, that's right, 4 parlays that are the high risk, high reward part of this bet. So I'm going to go over all of my betting action and be honest about what I've bet, what I've wagered, and you can call it ridiculous, but what you could do is take from this that even though I've got these parlayed, you could just play some of these individually and take the risk out of it and just not parlay it. You know, that's really the option. If you're going to parlay something, you should be comfortable with the bets standing by themselves. So I'll go over all of those, and I'm going to breeze through some of the picks here, but refer to my full card breakdown I released on Monday, and even my live stream I did yesterday with Bert MMA. I think that was one of the better live streams. With Bert, we just went 64 minutes back and forth each fight and potential props and plays for each one. I thought it was very informative, and Bert was a very good guest to have on, and I actually blame him for putting me in a parlay mood here. I actually played the parlay that he gave out at the end of yesterday's stream. So first moneyline pick here is Andrei Arlovski at plus 190. I put 1 unit on him. I put that in right when I recorded my full card breakdown, thinking that that might be the highest we would get, but lately we've gotten up to plus 200, plus 210. I've seen a book out there with plus 220 for Andrei Arlovski. So the cons to betting Arlovski: he's 43 years old, been in the UFC literally 20 years, was champion about 18 years ago. So he's been KO'd many times in the past. There was a time where it looked like he was done. He was on like 5 straight losses, seemed to have a glass chin, but he has really refined his style to be one of the more mobile heavyweights, even in his old age. Has pretty decent cardio. He's got more XP, more experience, I should say, than anybody else in the division or the league. And he's a minute winner. He can really land his combinations, answer strikes pretty accurately, and just use technical boxing to really put a pace on people. And he's fighting Marcos Rogerio de Lima, who's a very big, oversized light heavyweight, it seems like, about 6 foot tall, 6'1". A lot of extra weight around the midsection, but he's large, he weighs a lot, and he can really do some cage stalling, and that's what worries me about this fight. The early knockout potential, of course, but then as this fight goes on, I'm pretty sure Arlovski will have better cardio in round 2 and most of round 3 if he can avoid getting stuck on the cage under the big man, Rogerio de Lima, and just outstrike him for the majority of this fight. I think he could edge out round 1, round 2, and then maybe give up round 3. Give me Arlovski by decision. I do have just the 1 unit on his plus 190 money line. You can do better than that on the money line, but his decision prop is anywhere from plus 275 to plus 300. And Andrei Arlovski, his last 10 wins have all been by decision, including his most recent 4-fight winning streak. He's on all decisions, a lot of them very close. So he knows how to win fights. That's my 1 moneyline play. The rest of my picks and confident leads are all wrapped up into parlays. So let's go into those. I did mention I played my guest from yesterday's stream, Bert MMA. He had a very crafty 6-leg parlay. I'm playing that for 0.33 units, just a third of a unit at plus 563 combined parlay odds. And those 6 legs that Bert chose are as followed. I agree with all of these. I think they're great. Kattar Allen in the main event to go over 2.5. The Tim Means Max Griffin fight to go over 1.5. That's at welterweight. We have then the next 4 legs are all money lines. Christian Rodriguez, who's fighting a very short notice replacement, Joshua Weems. Chase Hooper is his money line. He's fighting Steve Garcia, a guy who's been controlled in the grappling, just knocked out really badly in his last fight. We got Junyon Park, his money line. He's fighting a guy with way less UFC experience in Joseph Ugly Man Holmes. Who's going to have a size advantage but lacking the experience, and I think the close-up striking goes in the favor of Junyon Park as well. And the last money line on that 6-leg parlay is Waldo Cortez Acosta, who is an undefeated 7-0 heavyweight, coming off of a 3 fight winning streak, all by knockout. He's got power early, power late, and he's facing Jared Vanderaa, who is 1-5 in the UFC. Certainly a good transition from the Dana White Contender Series to the UFC, with Jared Vanderaa being, pretty much the lowest level heavyweight that we have so far. Has a BJJ black belt, does Vanderaa, but never seems to use it. So give me a Costa there. That's Bert's MMA special. That's clocking in at plus 563 combined parlay odds. Again, Calvin Kattar, Arnold Allen, the main event over 2.5. Tim Means, Griffin over 1.5. The Christian Rodriguez, Chase Hooper, Junyon Park, and Waldo Cortez Acosta. Those are the 6 legs to that. Again, I agree with all of these standing on their own, not even parlayed. I like all those money lines. Those are some of my more confident fighters that he's chosen. And the time props, I'd say the most risky time prop, even Bert did admit to this, that over 1.5 for the Tim Means Griffin fight. I'd be the most concerned about Tim Means in this one. His durability has been lacking a bit as of lately. Griffin has never been put out by anybody except for TKO'd by Colby Covington. And as far as the main event going over half of that, it's a 5-round bout to go over 2.5 rounds. Neither Arnold Allen or Calvin Kattar have ever been finished by strikes. So I like that one too. So, again, just a third of a unit for me to put on 6 legs of a parlay. To times that by 5.63 would be, just under 2 units potential in that one. So, a long shot, but not wagering very much. And especially some of those money lines that I said, the Christian Rodriguez against Joshua Weems. I would like Rodriguez inside the distance when that prop drops. If that's somewhere between minus 150 and even money, I would like that. I like Hooper inside the distance. You can see Chase Hooper to get a knockout at plus 500, or the under 2.5, because I think if Hooper loses, I think it would likely be a Steve Garcia, knockout or something like that. I like the Junyon Park money line or his decision prop, which you could chop that money line down. Cortez Acosta, I like his KO prop, which can be had for about plus 150 as well. Out of a lot of the wins in Jared Vanderea's 1-5 UFC run, I think 3 of those or 4 of those losses have all been finishes. Let me double check that real fast just to make sure I'm not spitting out lies to you here. Jared Vanderaa, I know he's been put out quite a bit. He's good at surviving until halfway through a 3-round fight, but he does find himself, albeit to some good guys. He got TKO'd in round 3 by Chase Sherman. That's one finish. Scarf holded by Oleinik in round 1. That's another finish. Lost the decision to Arlovsky. Romanov TKO'd him, and Sergey Spivak TKO. So 4 of his 5 UFC losses for Jared Vanderaa have been by finish. So again, Cortez Acosta riding a 3-fight KO streak. Wouldn't be unlikely that he would get the knockout here at plus 150. I don't mind that to transform Acosta's minus 200 and more money line. Now, moving on to my bold, beautiful, high-risk, high-reward triple parlay. I need a drink for this one. Man. Drink a little bit of Jack Daniels to get through this next one because I've risked a substantial amount on a kind of a long shot parlay. So this is going to be a triple parlay. So a 2-leg with the most wagered, a 4-leg with a little less wagered, and a 6-leg parlay with the least wagered. So I'm going to walk you through it. 3 separate parlays, a 2, 4, and 6-leg with just money line plays. My most confident fighters on this card. If all of these hit, we're going to turn 5.25 units into about 21 units. That's the best case scenario. Very unlikely, but, we'll go for it. Now, if, one of my top 2-leg parlays, which are Calvin Kattar and Christian Rodriguez, if one of those guys should fail, we're going to lose 5.25 units, right? So it's very high risk, very high reward. Now, again, if Calvin Kattar or Christian Rodriguez should win both of their fights, we're guaranteed profit no matter if the rest of these guys hit or not. So walking you through it, I'll write it on the screen. My 2-leg parlay is Calvin Kattar at even money and Christian Rodriguez in a parlay for plus 156 odds. I have 3 units on those 2. Going on to the next parlay, I've added on now Calvin Kattar, Christian Rodriguez, Max Griffin, and Dustin Jacoby. That is at plus 520 combined odds for a 4-leg parlay. I have 1.5 units on that. And now the final part, the third parlay, is going to be 6 legs. Calvin Kattar, Christian Rodriguez, Max Griffin, Dustin Jacoby, Chase Hooper, and Waldo Cortez Acosta. That is clocking in at plus plus 1155 odds. So 11.5 to 1. I have 0.75 units only on that one. So if you see the way that this math shakes out, if I get the Kattar and Rodriguez one, we're set profit-wise. We're going to be up 2.25 units, no matter if the rest of these, Griffin, Jacoby, Hooper, Acosta, they could all fail. But as long as those first two, Kattar and Rodriguez, hit, we're profitable. But again, if either of those two should fail, we're done for. So that's the way it goes. Now, if you were in a situation where you're lucky enough where everybody hit, Rodriguez, the rest of these guys hit, except for Calvin Kattar, who's the last fight of the night, well, we could actually say, look, we're about to win 21 units. I don't want to risk it anymore. I could just hedge enough money on Arnold Allen to ensure profit no matter who wins that main event. That's the way to go. Another note on this, I've put this in already, so if the weigh-ins happen and somebody can't make weight or the fights get canceled, somebody breaks their ankle on the way to the scale, I'm not going to readjust this parlay. It'll just have to stand however it shakes out if there's a cancellation. So, again, all of these 6 fighters, I'm confident enough in to bet their money lines just by themselves. Now, you might say, okay, Christian Rodriguez, not a lot of value on whatever, minus 360, minus 400. That's fine. As I mentioned at the top, there's ways to play that prop-wise, inside the distance, things like that I would go for as well. So, I agree with all of these fighters winning, and these could all stand on their own as moneyline bets. I'm parlaying them. This card is not overly exciting. I do like the main event, but again, I'm not going crazy with a portfolio of bets. I'm just playing a couple key things here, high risk, high reward, just to have some fun and make this card a little bit more spicy, a little bit more entertaining. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you think I'm a moron, that's cool. I'm going to risk it and see what happens. We got more fights next week to try to get our money back if things should fail. Again, Addicted to Combat, I am official betting partner of BetUS Sportsbook, America's favorite sportsbook. Look in the link in the description. Click that link and you'll get a free 125% deposit bonus as a new customer. So go ahead and hit that. That's a great way, besides liking and subscribing to the channel, to help out the channel. And I'll see you guys Sunday for the recap. I can't wait to see how these fights shake out. Like I said, not the most exciting card, but there are a lot of fighters with some of them their careers on the line, so that makes it entertaining enough for me. I'll catch you guys on Sunday. Good luck on all your betting action. Cheers.